Hi, guys, and welcome to the part of 3 of the series of death, depth, and rebirth of the whole soul self. I feel that this video is the hardest video for me that I ever will do probably, because it touches the whole philosophy that I'm holding about authenticity, clarity, transparency, and accountability. And before I even jumped on that to put record, because I don't do live YouTubes anymore, I just do records because of my own um, autistic way of how I thrive the most. Um, I had so many things that I was like, the wind is too loud, the internet is not okay, everything is like, oh, right? The storm inside. Because when we decide to be like fully authentic, fully true, fully present with the self that is maybe still holding the spiritual identification, spiritual ego that is the finest, the most refined ego, or any kind of these to belong to attachment of anything is just hard, right? So I want to first welcome you in this space. If you haven't yet watched the first two series of Whole Soul Self, I really encourage you to do so, because we also have a whole 4 month scholarship for the Amethyst Mama Bear Womb Cave, which is the templating of holding so much that also went through me to create all of this. And yeah, there is everything linked below, how you access the scholarship, what and how you actually gain, if that's the word, the scholarship, is through listening, first video, second video, the third video. Do the deep journey inside of you, do the journaling about it, do the voice messages or whatever is your jam, anything to bring forth your own process. And then through the process, if you're going to be one of the lucky one who will get the full scholarship for these most potent, true, aligned, somatic wisdom, Sophianic wisdom container, well, you will be called for to really experience every month of your own deep rebirth through journaling and then presenting that. And that's the whole thing. No hidden gems, anything. It's just that. Like whole reciprocity through going inward, doing the work, presenting how you came on the other side, and just be raw. Okay. So yeah, I'm on top of the hill in this beautiful villa in Croatia, where I'm holding also Aurora Sanctuary retreats, and I have the whole jacuzzi down beneath me, like the ocean is all around me, and we just had snow. So the energies are very electric, very, very, yeah, just a lot. Those of you who can feel, who are so sensitive as I am, the wind, when he, whatever it spokes like this, carries a shift, wind of change. So we are tapping today into through the wind of change, through Bura. I don't. If you're not from Croatia or Slovenia, you don't know the energy of Buddha, but she is just a change bringer, and she is really something. So I will dive into why I did that, how it comes to the whole circle. And I have to tell you, if you're someone who wants to bring forth rebirth, birth, and just stand in your whole soul self through crystallization and solarization of your psyche, and you're someone who wants to bring forth your own medicines through any kind of courses or offerings, that is for you. If you're someone who is working with kids in any kind of level, that's for you. If you're a feminine devoted or masculine devoted in your deep exploration, but you're tired of loops of fixing mentality and the whole awakening thing, because this is the part where it's awakening from the awakening. And it's a full transparency where I personally go back maybe from parts of me there's still maybe like, oh, we need to fix that. It's not me, it's the program. Okay. So I invite all of you who are really just done with innate believing there's something wrong with you or you have to fix something. There's nothing wrong with you, there's nothing to fix, but there is a journey of consciousness who has to be witnessed, who has to be expressed, who has to be held in safe containers till you don't stand into this whole soul self. And even then there is a God who is your beloved, who is standing and supervising you, and it's your primal first and really the only codependency that should be existing. Everything else is bringing you from the codependency, from the belief systems of lack, from survival, from all the struggles of a lower human-based conditioning through the earth, not to bypass it, but to integrate so much light, so much consciousness in the body. And this is what this is. This video is the last video from this series, okay? And it's a journey, deep journey. And my intention for you is that you can listen, hear, see, sense through your higher self. So I invite you to invite your higher self to land with your wings and back of the heart and allow something greater than your own struggle self or your identity self to come and land within you, so you can even hear. Because the greatest problem, the struggle is you think you know, but you can't know if you're overlaid with so much illusion, right? So my invitation is that you can breathe through the projection of ego that is still blocking you to see beyond the illusions. And FYI, I am speaking as, yes, someone who's walking the walk, but I am aware that it's 10% of capacity that we are able to reach with our brains. Everything else is heart-filled. And through that awareness, right, and embodied wisdom, then I am inviting you, as we are students of life and internal God source creation as also earth, and we are the students of the mind who is always on the beginning, and we are students of how love can speak more through us. So it's not me preaching, it's not me teaching, it's me sharing my heart in the way that I will not do this experiment anymore, that's for sure. But yeah, it's a vulnerable place. It's a path of the shadow that it's from the darkness transmuting into the gold through the golden priestess path to the origin, and it's part of the psyche of the feminine held by the divine father and the Christ, so the crystalline consciousness speaking through me, within me, for me, and for everything around me through my reality. So let's dive in. I have today my master pyramid emerald quartz sun. It's from Bosnian sun pyramids. I have, of course, my voice healer. This one was for Egypt, the throat chakra, and it's connected with correlation heart and voice and sharing from the heart. Okay, so we do not split and purged the wounds out. And I have my solar plexor master, and of course I have my master healer who is always with me, the smoky quartz that has been probably in 10 years great work, and of course the amethyst. So let's dive in. Okay, I hope this finds you when you're ready. I hope it finds you when you need it. I hope it does find you. And yeah, let's do this. Let's go in. Okay. This is the path of solarization. It's also the path of the year of the snake. It is through transmitting the wisdom, the knowledge and teachings and everything. And basically my I gave away quite quickly many times, feeling safe through owning something than having too much. Okay, the this black and white, have a house, give away the house, go on the road, not have a home, like live in the Airbnbs, to then decide to land and to not have any attachments, to go be completely monk stuff, to go in full of attachments, and then bring it into the sacred path, the inward path. Okay. And everything that I'm speaking is really me doing experiment with my own psyche, from my own sovereignty, to choose to do that, not for any sake of promotion, not for any sake of being seen lovable or anything, but for the sake of expressing the self, observing the self, and in this work of the path of the healer, whatever you want to call it, archetype, to just really land into the love and invite people to, who are ready, to just see whatever they can take, not take, but learn, embody from this journey. This is not an easy journey. I would say that me growing balls before going into the feminine Maya goddess teachings was necessary. Going from the patriarchal controlling bull system and then circumcising myself because of it, right? But it's all just a pattern, to really step into the softness, but yet holding the fierce energy of the goddess. And today I woke up with this beautiful mother Elohai Elohim energy, and in the same time with the energy of the Sekhmet, right? She is the Egyptian goddess, the solar goddess that also holds destruction and birth, rebirth and death, right? And the first thing that my higher self in this theta brainwave did said was like, you walk with the lioness now. The lioness walks with you, right? And I was like, yeah, okay. But the lioness raw, but she doesn't bite if her cubs are not in danger. So I was really like contemplating also then on the message that I got from a beautiful sister who is doing my higher self portrait through our last transmission of Trinity of the Heart, which was the initiation gate that I created through the Arcturian Mastermind. So I would brought myself and those of you ready to this level of consciousness. Okay. This level of consciousness and embodying it, right? For me, level of consciousness was never a problem because I can tune in, tapped in because of the way of my brain works. I can tap in, tune in, sense every neuroplasticity in any kind of way, body, air, any kind of elementals, you name it, okay? And this morning, my sister shared a message for me through her painting of the goddess and my higher self. And she was like, I'm really contemplating on these hands of yours and kindness. And I was like, I don't know if I see myself so kind. I'm mostly like or quiet and going internally, or mostly just spitting the the like the disappointment that things are not going so quickly as my brains are doing, right? And then I was like, yeah, but well, I haven't been doing anything then since I got my whale DNA recalibration, reprogrammation with the whales in Morea, right? That was the story from the last video. I haven't been doing anything else but giving myself, like for the first time, this really deep kindness and love and compassion and rose to rose wisdom medicine, right? And I was really tapping in, tuning in from this needing to have the balls, because let's just say that my story has been nothing but easy, into that I can have balls, right? But I'm also having these hands, healing hands, and heart full of kindness. And when I finally learned the boundaries and had walked the path of the empath and start to really heal the wound of the mother, not just my mother, right? The one who birthed me in this lifetime, but the mother as the archetype, which is the most important thing, the healing the mother father wound, right? We know that, but there's so many layers on that. And when I finally start to fully claim my not mine, the traits of ADHD and autism, not taking on the label on me, but claiming the traits of the rainbow spectrum, I started to see how much love I'm returning towards my own self. And from that, like the whole energy in the hands that I kind of lost, because I am hands-on healer, right? I was born with animal. I was born and I was doing animal reiki, right? That was my jam, and I'm returning to that. And I was born and I was doing paintings. I was guiding people to express their emotion by painting, because this is how my father used to be. He used to play on guitar when he was home and and we were painting the sunsets and sunrises, right? And I quickly developed this capacity to see beyond anything that other people perceive as reality and tap into the finest refined essence of the soul of someone, attuned into every level of dimension of reality. And it's not easy to live so open in the world like this, when really everything is too loud. Okay, so when I say I really had to go beyond comfort zone and beyond ego identity of any kind of helper, healer, a good one, bad one, advanced one, whatever, I really land back. I really just want to share the voice, so the feminine in all of us can see that it's okay, but we do need support. And we've been used, abused, misused so many times. When we did finally reach out for support, right, we did not have the capacity to take care of our inner little one, the dumb, okay, the beloved inner child in us, and we just got more fragmentized. And this is the story of someone who did walk the walk. I went through near the unconscious near death experience when I was 3 days already on the passage. Then into these simulations that I did. I am a kind of extreme, because that's the ADHD thing. So I'm not proposing that anyone should do that alone without supervision. Even I have a supervision, and yet it was too much sometimes. Okay, but I did simulate through the Trinity of the Heart, the conditioning, and then went to Maria to swim with the whales, to got freaking dispersed by the whales, and the DNA conscious shift and the tones and the voices and the frequencies, and then got glued back to with the love of the mother of and the cub, and then go into the silence, go in recalibration, to the point when I was ready to start to birth the Amethyst Mama cave, one cave, and then starting to get a little bit more ready to starting to present it, and then being so contained back again, and bring the safety in me, challenging also the safety in me to really reclaim my safety inside of me, because of the experience I went through also in Bali, when I really did lose my safety again because of belief system still about some things, right? I gave my safety away. I didn't lose. I gave my safety away. Very important that you're listening yourself, where you're still talking from the victim or victimizer or perpetuator, like awareness, right? So, and then I went into this whole creation of Amethyst Mama Bear Womb Cave, so I could hold the space, get into discussion, get into discovery, get not just in activation, but full embodiment of the new template of the feminine, which is the Sophia. If we're talking about the mythos, and mythos are something they're just so logical to me, okay? It's just, I can, for me, mythos is something the most logical thing. This is how it is in my world, okay? And through the mythos of Sophia, and any kind of descents and ascents and moon goddesses and the dark feminine and all of it, I really wanted to create the space of where we can land in the hands of the god and go into beyond of the story of the fall and descent into the unity that was always here, but we just had to walk the walk. But we cannot bypass it if the body doesn't feel still like this, right? So I just really wanted to go all in and present the 4 cycles of feminine, also menstrual cycle, cycles, and hormonal balance, disbalance, and everything is going on in us when we're not fully into the highest expression, body, mind, spirit. And knowing that I'm going in, knowing what is the purpose, to observe my consciousness so I can see where I'm still holding something that needs to be brought to more light. So the Sophia in unity with Christ, crystalline consciousness, can really be in my body, not in ethers, not in astral, not in the quantum. We've done all of it. We've done the architectures. The architecture of the mama bear womb cave was done already in Bali. That was on the beginning of this cycle of February, right? I do these cycles end of the February, September, and then I'm slowing down, and then again from end of February, March, I'm again on the road, or whatever it's called from me. More and more I'm stopping that, but this is the journey that I want to take you in. It's full on vulnerability, and I'm trying to bypass it. So I'm gonna just take a breath and invite you also, or anyone who will listen this, to take a breath. Receive the medicine, not take the medicine. We don't take something from the queen bee, right? The bees doesn't take nothing from the queen bee. And the queen bee is not afraid that something will be taken away from her, because she's tapped in, tuning into the infinite potential of the source stream energy. So what is really important here is the understanding of finite, infinite living, and the blockages that are fear-based, that we are limited beings, right? Limited. Yes, our bodies die, but we are a source of undeathful, undieable material and energy. Okay, so this experiment with my own psyche, and to show you how deep we need to go with the shadow, but how much we can play with the shadow to bring it into the golden path. And everybody will be doing this, the whole earth, in the next 2 years. If you haven't done before any of that, you will be doing that in the next 2 years, because the earth will want to purge that, and the children that are coming through many clusters, they just want that. So okay, to do the experiment with your own psyche and walk through the depths and death and rebirth of the whole soul self, you really need to be or completely crazy or just really love upon yourself. I would say it's a mixture of both, and right, the same coin. And I did in this path consciously went in to see the overlays of the lunar matrix, the Saturnian matrix, the Pluto matrix, the Mars and Venus. And basically, I tapped into all of the matrices, not from the New Age perspective. Oh, La Luna, Satanistic, yes, the lower aspects of the feminine psyche, the lower aspects of Saturnian matrix, the lower psyche, yeah, the lower expression of the Pluto matrix. And then I used the rainbow bridge, activate the rainbow bridge that I am, right? to tap into the highest expression. It's like we have lower Venus, which is the earth conditioning love, and then we have the Venus in her highest expression. And when we talk about Sophia, it's really about the path of the inner feminine, right? And I was talking about that through the Trinity of the Heart, where I was in Paris and I was doing the rose line there and the sienna and the heart field. And yeah, this is really the path of from the lunar unconscious wounds that are the parts of the patriarchal systems on the feminine psyche in all of us, with union in the Christ in us. And yes, these are the frames, they're concepts, because we do need them in the realm of I am. We still are playing the concepts. And yes, through the whale initiation, I did experience beyond the I am, and I needed, I think, 2 months to come back. The fifth Sufi chamber of beyond I am, where you don't exist. But there was a second of moment where I did not exist, and then the ego of I am come and start to observe myself in the water with the whale, which was doing the 360 degrees, coming up from down, coming up. And in the moment when this great scientist of intergalactic surgeon, just pierced me through my DNA, my soul, my trauma. And just, yeah, in the moment, there was a tiny moment when I was not even observer of awareness experiencing itself. And it was freaking insane. And it was freaking a lot to then start to, from these complete dissolutions, coming back into the body. It's not fun, but it was something that I wished for. And I didn't do that through the medicine. I did through any kind of medicine, because I didn't do the ayahuasca and that kind of stuff, because I was always too open. I always needed integration. So yeah, that's the whole thing now coming really into, I have nothing to lose anymore, because I've experiencing myself in the death territory so many times that I'm not the one who I was 4 months ago, 5 months ago. So this presentation is presentation from the field. Hi. Like there was me before that, and here's me now. And it's something profoundly beautiful and still coming together into the body in like from this new perspective, and in the same time feeling so supported from my own safety, even though let's just say that I am still in some parts of contemplating the trauma that I went through Bali and through the elemental clearing and stuff that I will talk later. It's just, hi, it's me. And I welcome you in this, let's be in a new relating from heart to heart, from soul to soul frequency. Okay. And I do talk about the first person because it's so easy to hide beyond the teachings and scripts, and to be raw and vulnerable like this, it's something else. And I truly know deep in my soul that this is the medicine. It always has been, but it's just the hardest walk to walk. So I'm doing it, right? And if there's nothing touch you through these 3 series of death, and rebirth of the whole soul self, I hope this transmission reach you. Okay. They are these teachings and exploration and sharings and exposing of the self are really the part of the whole Amethyst Mama Bear Womb Cave journey, where the feminine finally goes out from any kind of siren energy, like I was speaking already in the previous, any kinds of dark witch manipulation, the close-hearted one, and go into the pain that is still shaping her reality, and to become the landing grail, the landing grail for her own inner beloved, to relax from the mind into the heart, into the womb, where I personally believe also that there is the intelligence beyond intelligence. It's like my third eye is in the womb, it's in the belly, my intelligence in the belly. It's yet also the place where I have the most scars and stitches inside, outside. Why? We will not go into the whole conspiracy theory. We will stand firmly grounded, but there hasn't always been the most pleasant life living here on earth. But we are also reshaping the fear that comes from still engraved deeply in our DNA of sharing the voice, sharing the medicine, sharing the craft, the art, the everything, right? The psyche, our psyche, especially the feminine, that has been suppressed in this last 24,000, 6,000 years cycle, where the earth was the farthest away from the sun. And we can talk by the myth about the loss of the goddess, or just saying that there was not enough sun in the spectrum of the earth, right? Whatever is your jam, just choose something so you can hear me. And it's really, everything is stored in our fascia, in our neuroplasticity of the fascia, of the bones, of the organs itself, and soma. As I don't like to say nervous system anymore. I like to call it soma. Why? Because it's the medicine of your whole soul self. And not to speak it some kind of spiritual woo shushu. It's just how I perceive it, okay? Because when I call it nervous system, I still go, oh, it's only for that. No, and it's also for pleasure. It's also for the goddess to speak through me in her current of totality and wholeness. And yeah, and to really know thyself through neuroplasticity intelligence is to have the heart of Lemuria activated, the mind of Atlantis, let's say like that, and the mastermind, Arcturian mastermind intelligence of the higher mind healing, right? That's kind of where we are through what I am speaking. And then there is the whole Woman of Grail Heart's teachings, which is just the wholeness of how these transmissions are brought forth, okay? And if you're also ready to step beyond the patriarchal override, the control, slavery, and suppression, not from I just need to be in some kind of ism, veganism, feminism, chauvinism, whatever ism. I have nothing with any movement if it's from coming from the heart, right? Sometimes we do need the places, the groups that we can express the rage. And I believe that these groups that are conscious rage expressions through good work are very good, okay? So my way of expressing rage is through doing this, okay? When you don't see me, if I have rage coming up, I do the rage ceremony. If I want to express something, but I really want to express it through awareness and not to witchcraft it, I will sit with myself, my stones and the winds and the waters and the elementals, and I'll say, when I'm ready, let me speak, okay? And if you're also ready to own your sovereignty from this place of, I'm not a victim and I'm not the victimizer anymore, but I will see beyond the override of control, slavery, suppression, to know how to birth my own creation from the living body, then that's your call. So I think by now you can really sense that there is no manipulation beyond these videos. There are no tactics, no performance. I have been trained by many years of many ways of marketing and anything. And if you check my online pages and Facebook and Instagram, nothing says that. Okay, I've been working on also when I was younger on cruise ships, when I was trained for the 5-star marketing, and I'm not doing this. I'm not even using trauma as presenting and doing this. I'm using a form, knowing, okay, this is my truth, and my truth is not in any shape or form to present anything from a place of neediness, lack of manipulation. But there is an offering, there is the most aligned space you can reach and come to sit with me, or in person through Aurora Rose Sanctuary in Croatia, or through online here. But the whole circle is that I do small circles, I do small groups. That's why are high rated. Because of the way I perceive reality, I really go into the neuroplasticity of everyone, if they wish so, who attend to our groups. Okay, if that's the case. Otherwise, my deepest and highest value is everyone to remember that it's between you and God. It's between me and God and Goddess, right? So I did create a space through Mama Womb, Amethyst Mama Womb Cave Grail container, where you can purge the trauma stories that are still suppressed in your body, and go into the soft bloom and truly integrate of invite yourself to integrate your whole soul self. My gift of ADHD and autism is actually this hyper super focus. That's why I do small groups, like I said, where we dance together, we laugh, we cry, we create, and we rebuild the patterns through origin mind. Okay, we actually dance inside of the heart space and womb integrity as divine children. And when you see me too serious, I know I'm in my shadow, because my highest expression, my city, is actually the joy of the child in the golden field. Okay, and through this December, January, February, we will journey together, like I spoke about it in the first video, second video, through the last cycles of the snake year, preparing feminine psyche for to be in the conscious state of inward explosion of oneness. Through divine union of Sophia and Christ, and tapped into the source field constantly. Because when you, as divine child, you heal the mother father wound with ancestors, galactic and earthly. You did the work through all the planetary systems. You tapped into the fields of Terra Tara Gaia. You went into the epochs of the last golden age here on Earth. You did the whole work. You really come into this ecstatic bliss when you go from the trauma body and emotional constant daydreaming and swimming in the waters. And don't get me wrong, I'm a fully watery person, water and air. But there is the earth, the heart, that it's landing space for now. We can get so lost into the Lemurian disembodied teachings, like I spoke before, when we're just dreaming with the whales, just swimming with the dolphins, and yeah, there's periods for that, and there is time for just not get caught into the spirituality, because there is the embodiment that needs to happen. Yes, some are here to really till the end of the life to just teach about that, just swimming with the whales, doing that, or just, I don't know, working with the Arcturians. And some we are called, even if so open and even so empathic, to actually build a legacy here on Earth. About the legacy here on Earth, I am going to speak with Sarah, my helper, co-creator in this whole story of New Feminine. And the fire horse here, I'm going to do the whole presentation for it. But let's just say that we are going from sneaky feminine energy into the whole fire horse, this young horse energy. If you have been in the space with the young horse who see the feminine horses, I don't know in English how to say, you know the energy that goes through you when we are like that. And if that energy is not refined, and if your inner masculine, it is in this crazy energy that doesn't see anything else but plug in, put in, or just consumer energy, well, there's gonna be a hell of a year next year. Okay, if you're willing to come into the whole soul self, not tame the dragon, not to tame, but to train the dragon inside of you, well, that will be from the whole another level of resurrection of your own inner Christ, right? Held by your own inner guardian system, which when you're actually activating the connection between the Arcturian mind, the solar Atlantean solar plexus, and the heart of Lemuria, right? With the whole capacity of the womb, then your inner custodian, guardian, interstellar, how I can express, like your inner guardian system awakens into whole nother capacity. I will spoke about that because these are Lemurian teachings about the crystallization of through the basically how you create the offering. I am so why I went so in, because it's so important as someone, if you're highly sensitive, and probably if you're listening this you are, to know also how you have to step out of the matrix of presenting, creating, and everything. But in purpose of staying in the lane of 1 hour, probably something more, I have to just go through the storytelling, and then next time I will be more in the facts. Okay, so through this Amethyst mama bear womb cave, and through the wisdom of Sophia and Christ, we will dance in every pocket of our psyche. Okay, the cycles will be focused on the mother archetype through the empathy line, because the empathic medicine of reclamation is the most needed in this now. Why I know that? Because I'm communicating through the clusters of 40,000 children. It's insane, but they are preparing each and every one of us for to shine upon the earth grids. Okay, and if we went now through the really deep depths, and death, like I created through Trinity of the Heart, and then now through integration and really coming into the whole new avatar creation. Well, the snake was all about the death, the blessing, and basically the blessing every monster under the bath with love and compassion, and bringing all the shadowy monsters under the bath into the golden light of the wholenesses of whole soul self. Okay, and if you're willing to go into this journey for the next 4 months, probably in the group, you will thank yourself like never before. Your inner child will dance again, and the rainbow butterfly bridge inside of you as the high priestess templating, which is the leading medicine for this container, will just be blessed upon your see you as one you will just dance in yourself in this new creation. Okay. This is not some promise. This is what happened through my own work. And if you stand in the field with someone who did reach that level of awareness, you have the whole chance to do so, right? Because when you are not to take something, but in the sacred reciprocity, right? You give something so you can learn from someone who walked the walk, and then you give that to someone else in the sacred reciprocity, right? And I would like to now bring us into more embodied part, where I will use the medicine of the storytelling again. But in the sake of understanding, this is because I want to explain how much important is that when you are so much in this oracle, feminine, higher architecture templating, it's important to know the body, the know thyself through the body deva, through the elemental structure. And I've taught that 4 years ago through Sovereign Womb Grail course, 12 weeks, where we really purify the elementals through womb work, and the 8 gates plus 9, the connection between the 8th and the 9th gate, which is the teachings of the Horus. And why you have to know the elementals is because when everything is wombling and rumbling and esoterically, so when you go into this embodiment, because the trauma that you hold in your body or in your lineage, well, if your elementals are purified, aware, and speak within you, and you can hear them and understand them and guide them through you, they will be your anchor place for your consciousness to dance within them through water, ether, keter, fire, plasma, earth. Okay? And the ether is the place where the constellation of the bull, right, is the place where we go from the lower astral. Also, astral has different layers: lower astral, middle astral, higher astral. And then we go into the ether when the bull constellation comes in place. And from the bull constellation opens the whole thing with the higher mind. And here is where the Arcturian architecture of the 5 and 9D consciousness comes in. It's where we're starting to tap into Aurora energy. That's why Aurora Rainbow. Aurora Sanctuary in Croatia, because I'm holding the grid here. And yeah, we then really have different stability. And I promised to tell a story about Bali, and here I go. Okay. I on the beginning of this cycle on February went into Bali consciously to work with someone very dear to my heart, to really go to purification of all the elementals. Bali hold the whole dragon line. The Uluwatu temple is one of the most sacred dragon lines there. It is part where also the Sitarama stories are very, very, very alive. This is part of the Lemurian seeding too. I have walked the 1, 2, 3, and 4 and seedings through my consciousness. Just one Lemurian, I walked through all the seedings, through all the epochs of Lemurian timelines, Atlantean timelines. Also now, very much people doesn't talk about that, but we are in the Aryan human race, root race templating, and nobody talks about the occult stuff that we have to clear, Blavatsky, Hitler, and all of that, right? We in Slovenia hold so much from Italy and Germany that are still grids that hold so much trauma and memory and infiltration through wounded feminine teachings that went really wrong through occult stuff, right? So to come a full circle of solarization and crystallization of your body, mind, spirit, soul, whatever, not soul, but the elementals and all of it, is to know that importance of the Jade Seal, Draco Seal clearings, and the 13th pillar to connect with the original 13-dimensional consciousness, and to work through architecture and yeah, I'm not going to go too much of that, but there is the sequence of where quantum technology has to come into body, mind, body, lower mind, and body technology, and the great initiation and purification of the elementals are one of the very important parts for you to do so. Okay, and by that, I want to tell you the story of the ancient queen snake of the Naga realms. Okay. I went through I consciously went to work with the Naga cave in Bali to work with innate Kundalini energy and the dragon lines from the snake to the dragon consciousness, from the water into the fire and into the plasma. And like I said previous, nothing prepare me for the level of initiations, right? The first initiation already started when we with the soul who walked with me on the Bali went to do the ceremony in one of the really beautiful waterfalls. When I was holding, I gave this person a Shiva Lingam stone, and he gave me a rose quartz yoni stone, and we did a whole ceremony in this waterfall, and it started to get dark, and this is really like in the tunnel, and you go down really like into the sand, and there is a waterfall, and there is a tunnel that you have to walk in the water to reach back, and the darkness starts to fall. And at that time I was studying the Naga consciousness through the Bali connection and the Indian connections, right? Teachings about the Nagas through the snake perception as the first reptilian species on Earth, not through New Age teachings of bad, but through knowing whose DNA we're all carrying, let's say like this, and because we are so many DNA we are mutation. So anyway, and I thought we finished the ceremony, and I felt a call to just hold the quartz yoni stone in my hands and put it into the water and bow to the waterfall and the land before I go, and left, and I freak out. Even though I work with the spirits, it was really kind of spooky. Something grabbed me for my left leg, and my left leg went into the sand, and all I knew in that moment that I hold the hand of this person, and I said, let's go. And the spirit said, it's time to go, kiddos. This is the territory that you have to grow into it. I've heard very loudly that, and I said, let's go. The elders want us to go. They said, kiddos, this is a really deep, dark territory. You have to be prepared for it. I thought my ego was, and then I really went into the whole death and rebirth of this snake here. We then walked through the Tulum, and it was really initiation. Like the spirits was just everywhere telling me the story, what we went in, and I was just like, I need to go from here. They're too loud. I cannot. It was too much. Get me out of there. We went home, and then the whole basically story of knowing the reptilian level consciousness through the snake Naga queen, where on the other side there is a true medicine of being on the light side of the goddess, is But you can be on the Sophia side of the goddess if you don't know the goddess on her, the most wounded primordial, let's say, dark mothers, for the sake of understanding, scent. And to know that level of that scent of the mother is to know trauma from every angle and find the love and devotion in your own self and that feminine flame of transmutation to continue the journey, because the journey is the hardest initiations of the black rose, if you want to call it, because I like to use roses for the analogy, but it is the hardest path to know, and it's not for the fainted heart. And you do get to the point where it is too much, when you do have to say, God, it's enough, I can't handle anymore. It does break you apart, because there is a level of goddess, there is cloud and cloak with illusion called Maya that only God can pierce through. And Krishna put first layer, right, of Maya on his, like God, whatever, the God, whatever is God for you, put first layer of these whales of goddess on himself and wear it as honor, as well. This is a territory that is just fucking a lot, right? I'm not gonna in any shape or form believe that it's easy or just make it smaller than it is, because it's a lot. And yes, there are the non-dualistic teachings which I have studied in depth and walked the path. When I was the deepest in the goddess, the deepest in the Maya, I then went into the highest round of non-dualism to fuck up my perception even more, and then to pray on the floor to God to find the middle way. And what I'm speaking here is the channel transmission from my own innate inner wisdom, of this struggle of the depths of the wisdom, the depths of the downward of the goddess and illusion Maya herself, through the non-dualistic teachings about shunya as fullness and shunya as emptiness, the great void teachings, and then the middle path that grown through this inner river now in this moment. So when I say inward spiral of Sophia, it's like I am inviting you, because she, the great mother, needs to speak through you, through your own expression of the medicine. That's why every soul incarnated here has a different blueprint, yet we are connected through the trauma, so we can awaken the more capacity to ourselves, till we don't transmute the trauma body, which is the emotional body, the feminine body, and the masculine inside of us is starting to trust us enough that he can fully land inside of the body as the consciousness, right? And by saying that, gosh, I want to bypass this. I don't know why, because there are still some attachments to Bali. Bali was the place where I got seriously in paranoia, because I couldn't feel the spirit. Like, all of these freaking building of the houses, selling of the lands, and people building these freaking spiritual communities, house by house by house, to just get lost more in this bypassing, was just not something that I'm resonating with. Everybody has the right to do whatever they want. I am not judging, I'm just expressing where I stand very strongly, okay? And why I can finally do that, because I stand in myself, and my nervous system doesn't need to go all the time when I speak something then into the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response, because I'm afraid, because I still have some things in the past, okay? The sun within me, the crystal within me, connected with the higher mind, is now nourishing the soma, the inner child, this beautiful child within me, to find really the way from the past. That's why I'm not doing one-on-ones and past life regressions anymore, and I'm really teaching from this attuned, embodied way, to not opening all the time the past, but just feeling the feeling, not identifying with, and then basically bring it into the wholeness, whole soul self, and integrate it. Okay. And from this sun crystal awareness in me, the elementals then flow as Saraswati river, right, the inner channel through my spine, and dance between the fire, the water, the earth inside of me. Okay. And when you have the awareness integrated enough, and you can observe through higher mind, so the observer mind, some call it also that Sophia, whatever is your jam again, you can then go into that craziness that I've gone through launching this Amethyst Mama Womb Cave, doing the first 3 videos on the actual website where I was completely in my womb cave still. So on my period, when I was just like, oh no, I don't want to do this. I don't why I said I'm gonna do it, but I knew that I wanted to do it for myself, and I was just reclaiming my whole soul self through, you know what? I am gonna completely firstly tell you my boundary. I am autistic, and if I see that you're bullshitting me and you're actually paying me to see that you're bullshitting me and you're still bullshitting me, I'm not gonna play the story. I'm gonna tell you once or twice and then you're on your own. Right? So I was really trying from this place of who am I in this new full-on expressed self, but still in my womb cave, talking through the mystic voice, because I didn't want to share my voice fully and try to bring Bridget Guinevere out from the mystical, magical, but I was still in my womb cave. And then I went into the whole journey on with the video 1 and video 2, and now video 3. There's basically I am just preparing to go into my womb cave, right? Before we have, just let's say we're preparing to go to my womb cave. My womb is already, we do this, and then we're just like landing in, like, and it was really beautiful to observe myself through the Sophia, through non-judgmental eye of the mother and the father, and myself as custodian of this soul templating that was given for communication with my avatar body templating. How I just in 1 month, how you can grow, develop, anchor, stabilize, and imagine doing this for 3 months. If you never did anything with soul creation or soul activation before, if you never worked with me before, or being in the group of the sisters that are so devoted to their own path with the soul creation templating, there is just the most magical place. And imagine if I went through this reclamation in 1 month on the eyes of everyone, how you in a safe container is really really in safe place. What kind of bloom is awaiting you on the other side? And this is all we want, like the full fuck body, mind bloom, right? So the goddess as her currency, as sensuality, can just not just provide for the sense of providing and birthing, but just to have the space of the current. And that's what I was trying to say when I didn't felt the goddess, like not the goddess, the spirit in Bali. I have through hard paranoia, overstimulated by the noise, by the air. Oh my god, the air there, it make complete sense, because people are so into the dark mother there, right? Not touched into the divine mother. But this is not from the judging, this is from the observation. I'm not saying the primal Baliness, the original Baliness, I'm not saying that. They are custodians of the wisdom, and they know what they're doing, right? but the new age poly stuff there and communities is just, you cannot be tuned in into the higher mind because there is no air to breathe. My lungs were hurting, my mind was fractal. I was just raging about, I cannot feel the spirit, she cannot run free. And then there was this whole Palladian orchestration through the concert of Churavaka and Anna that I had like this vision for 8 years. I knew that I'm gonna meet her and her group, and there was gonna be the whole Pleiadian console playing out through us. And what happened was we were there doing a master planetary grid work through Pleiadian consciousness, and it was pouring and raining, and she was dancing, and there was roses and cacao and beautiful energy, and I just, in one moment, I just said, let she run free again. And then I lie on the floor, everything was wet, everything was purging and raining. I was just like, you will run free again. And I was still like hallucinating from just God is speaking through me, right? But I couldn't understand at that moment. But it's like in Athens, right? There's no place for goddess to run free. Just fucking buildings everywhere. You see, I'm getting nervous because it's just, she needs to run free. And how the fuck she's gonna run free through your body if there's so much trauma and so much tightness and so much stiffness and so much unlayered fascia and nerve systems, and all she wants to do is run free. And the next year, when we're going into the freaking year of the horse, fire horse, we all know what happens to Sakti, right? The first primordial energy of Shakti. She burns herself out from the wounds of the feminine. And the next year, we will see the fucking feminine in all of us kill ourselves if we're not going to attune a line. That does not mean that you're nun and you're like, I don't know, whatever. I'm having no in my mind stories. But the fact is, she wants to run free. And the more rage, the more shame, the more guilt, and all of this suppression of your sensual energy through distortion, because it's your truth how you want to relate to your sensual energy. I'm not even using sexual energy because it was so distorted. I'm using how you want to relate to your everything. And if you're not having a chance before to really go into such a full fuck yes of yourself, I'm really inviting you, because all she wants, like, I'm trying to now relax my body, because there's so much currency going through me, not to control me, but to balance me, because all she really wants to do is to run free. There's a beautiful song by Rob, Love Everlasting. All mother wants is to be free, and love is everlasting. And when the mother, the current of she, the Shakti, is flowing through your inner lower centers, like free through all dimensions, all 13, 14, 15 dimensional perspective of awareness that you can tap in right now, as someone who has opened the capacity, right? And if you're listening, you have. She just wants to run free, and love is everlasting, and that's the highest mind fuck till you're tapped into finite, because love is el infinito, and love is el infinito, and you by the default, your story here is to tap out of this false story, out of the descent stories, and continue looping into descent stories, using them when it's needed, but not falling all the time in the sake of the trauma, repeating, and to remember the wholeness and oneness and living from that frequency. And to live from that frequency, you have to know the principles of the Lemurian teachings, which I will talk about next time, because you have to lock in your frequency. The crystal has to be secure. It has to be contained. And then she can go into I started to speak about that on the beginning of the year, not into the prophecy, what will be, but into the depth of the capacity of your lungs, your pool, your inner inner spirit of greenness, of the goddess, right? And yeah, the whole Bali purification, they're the master water healers, right? The medicine of the water alchemy there, it's just pure Lemurian, right? Some say it's Lemurian, whatever the concept. But I thought that they lost everything. I was really sad because I was looking at it from perspective how, because I was so, I would probably need it, like, I don't know, I was just really not in the space, rested enough or clear enough at that time, because I was deep in some other processes also, to just see beyond the overlay. I was in the overlay, which means I went there to purify, right? So there I was there in overlay, and now I'm coming out of this overlay of the Maya and seeing the real beauty. But the air there is still completely fucked up. That's why you cannot tap into the higher mind. It's really hard. And there is a lot of satanistic clearing there, a lot of occult clearing there, a lot of witchcraft, a lot of sacrificing. There's everything a lot present. And that's part of the Aryan thing. And also, when we're speaking about the water element there, the waters there are nothing they were. Yeah, the temples, because people are holding the ancient one, and people who are custodians of the land, they're holding the frequency. So the waters there are having the frequency. Yet the waters there are murky. Okay. And about the fire, well, the fire, I could say, is everywhere actually, and the fire energy was very potent because I deeply connected with the Nagaloka caves, and that was the most beautiful story. We sat by the table with two of my friends, and we started to speak how they have land there, where the Nagaloka cave is, and you don't go there by alone. You go by and you don't go in, right? And how creepy is, and how much people really just lost themselves there. And they were talking, and this beautiful friend was explaining, and just in the moment, I again started to be afraid that I'm gonna break something or hurt someone by just having such a rush of energy through my spine into the heart. And I have to go up and just stand, because that happens for 3 times for me, like this amount of fire in me that I was trying to suppress because I was afraid. Because I used the fire to break, not to, right? Because you have to know how to bend the elements, as you have to become the elemental bender, right? That's the whole magic of everything. And it's easy to bend the water. It's easy to, well, I think personally the fire, because it's the spirit, is the holy consciousness, is really quite a journey to know how to bend it, right? Not telling that, but it's part of the Magi Grail teachings and Magi consciousness. And yeah, I just have this fear that I'm gonna just kill someone, and that's the dark masculine inside, in the bones of the first chakra, in the templating the first chakra. There's just like so much energy, and people are sensitive, and I was afraid that even with me going away, I'm gonna just hurt them, right? Fry the nervous system and anything. So I completely locked myself and energetically. So, and then I started to be unwell because I've suppressed my fire. And by unwell, I mean that I've got 42 degrees temperature for about 1 week or something like this. And I was again already, look, here's my account for, if you're account for, how I say, oh my God, for healthcare. So if I die, you can bring me by airplane home, so my mom can see me, my ashes. And I was just like, well, if that's it, I die in Bali. Okay, cool. But then I started to shift my perception in my head, and I decided, well, I'm not gonna die. I didn't came here to die. I'm gonna fucking do something from this, right? And yeah, I've soon then started to be aware that I'm done here in Bali. I went through the whole fire, earth, water, grids. There are actually grids around the Bali, and every temple is connected to something. I did a beautiful temples for. I really did a lot of pilgrims there. Beautiful temples where I was received by local priests, and the teachings through the bamboo water that I'm still keeping close to my heart because I don't feel like this is some talks for here. And yeah, and I came to a realization that I have the ether point, right? And why not? And also the element of metal is really disturbed here. That's the lung, right? And the lungs are the part of the heart. So I really struggled there. I become smaller and smaller, and my nervous system, I really wasn't well anymore. I was the most fine when I went to the mountain, the holy mountain, the alive mountain, Batur, where I was just like really feeling back my energy. And I met a local shaman, going through the whole process of clearing the spirits and all of it. It was intense. But yeah, let's just say that Bali, if you're not ready to go through an initiation with the Queen of Nagas, Queen of the Underworld, you just don't ask for it, right? And if you do ask for it, pray to God. Every fucking freakle sentence should be, beloved God, I am in the depth of my rebirth, death, and rebirth, and I need you. I know there is a light on the end of the tunnel. Just hold the space, hold me. You, they have limited capacity of how much they can hold you. There is a moment where it really comes between you and God, and it's you and God, and it's your initiation as divine child, because it's really becoming about you and God. And the more ego you can give away, just like hi, bye, and in the same time, well, it's not bye, you don't exist, it's you're here, I'm seeing you, you're part of this structure that I create through the path of the wounded healer and the wounded child and the wounded father, mother archetypes. And now I'm reshaping, rebirthing. And there is the level of consciousness when then you can simulate your conscious embodied death, rebirth, and then somatic integration. And because I know what I am called to work with for the next steps of human evolution, I really brought myself to the knees, because I didn't want to go with the level of trauma of my feminine psyche into these next steps of my personal and humanity personal evolutionary needs from us light workers, or whatever we call it, seers. And if I could or want to use any word before I end with the Adam Peak in Shambhala in Sri Lanka, I would say that yeah, it's I really brought myself to the knees because I didn't want to repeat our ancestors' trauma. And soon after the period of time after the womb cave, Mama Amethyst womb cave we will start it with that. Let's just say it like that. And by this, you can see now how aware I was that I'm not ready to share this part of me with the world. So I went into the into inner vision of the crystals that are there seated, and I tuned in, and with the higher mind I was like, no, I'm not. So you can really see how much awareness is flowing, currency of awareness is flowing when we're speaking. And my invitation is to, if I talk too quick, if I'm too much into interdimensional, multidimensional layered explanation, exploration, discussion, or whatever, just take your time and listen a few times, okay? Let your ego not be in that much of frightening that you don't even want to perceive this message, because it's really a gift, really a gift. And to end, if you're in the frequency to hear it, okay? And to end this whole story with where it's really important to know that we have to clear the Aryan wounds of superstitions of the wounded feminine. We have to clear the right pathed wounds, the left pathed wounds. The Aryan race is what we are now. We're going through mutation of the gene into the new human race. And we cannot be stuck just into one timeline. They're all dancing inside of us. And for me to go from Bali, because like I said, this is talking through a layer of Saturn matrix, Pluto matrix, Venus, Mars, Luna, Sun. Also, Sun has the matrix, right? And it's all about really bringing through storytelling so we can relate and soften more to understanding that I basically like run from Bali to Sri Lanka, where I felt so home, where I could breathe, when the animals were finally there, because Bali doesn't have any animals left, and it's sad, and it breaks my heart, and it's fucking breaks my heart. And yeah, and then I was met by a mama whale. I went whale watching, not swimming yet, but whale watching, and she took me into the deepest depths of womb already there as initiation. And it's where I'll rest and get myself enough together so I can come home, so I can go into the real process. And when I was out of, when I finally could integrate enough of what happened, and there was a lot of stuff happening in Bali that in any shape or form I will not share here, but let's just say that I went into the depths of knowing myself through different kinds of relating, okay? And my relationship to that, my relationship to that, my relationship to that. And then I went home to do the massive work with between me and my mother for the third time, because it's like I go somewhere and I come home and I then land in my family, and I want these teachings and clearings be done in my family, because that's the real work then, right? We can do thousands of family constellations, and if we don't go into the where the on this in these lifetimes things started, we are just bypassing again. But safety is here. Accountability, clarity, transparency through your own self and boundary is the most needed. And I many times didn't have that. And I went in and in and in and in, and all I should be doing at that time is just, look, I need space. I don't want to do this. And that's the boundary that I had to learn to put towards my own self, because I hold this templating of really going into the depths, okay? Or super high, or super low, and or super in. And yeah, there was then this part of the whole Adam's Peak where I couldn't walk it anymore because my body was already so fragile, and my friend did it. And after that, I went into really deep healing of the masculine, the parts, even though I was walking the path of healing the masculine for quite some time. And I really could channel the codes from that axle tone, and then through Triglav, and through caves of Postojna, and through Paris, and then went to Morat to swim with the whales. And now in Croatia, holding the grid for the next 3 months before the next thing not happen, we consciously create. And just from the part of this really depth of authenticity, telling you that it's all a journey. The journey should be, and I'm inviting you that it's conscious. And consciousness is not something you pay for, it's something you came here to walk. Enlightening is not for someone who is just meditating, and it's part of the path. And awakening from awakening is just awakening from that you just did another layer of matrix. And there was a huge trauma matrix. And then the real integration happens when you're like, okay, I just awakened from awakening, and I have this body here, and I have this so hard wish that I want to continue my journey. And now the real thing is to land into the safetiness of your own beingness. And this is where I'm calling you in. To land into the safetiness of this whole being. So your offerings, your beingness, your existence can be present, stable, safe for others and yourself, soft and powerful when needed. And through vulnerability and presence and clarity and accountability, to own your own nervous system and know when you're again plugged into consumers through food consumercy, medicine, TV, radio, I don't know, any kind of plugins like Christmas and satanic rituals going on Saturn. Anyway, I'm not gonna go there. So that's kind of the end of the whole story. Bali, great initiation of the clarification of the elementals, which are crucial for stability of your nervous system. The teachings, the great teachings about the elementals are the one teachings where your cervix does become a fine for your soma. Land with this, okay? Cervix is the fine attuned instrument of your soma, and the wounds of penetration of any kind, work, unconscious work, everything is so deeply ingrained in that part of you that it's affecting, it's like a virus to the whole body then, okay? And I'm really calling all of us, the conscious creatrix in all of us, to create the new templating for the next year. Not the Gregorian year, but the solar and lunar year and galactic new year, and just give ourselves permission to experiencing ourselves as the whole soul self. And through that, we're coming into the end of also this journey, where I would like to invite you to the free also gathering happening on 2nd of December, Inward Spiral Sophia, where we're gonna, through the body, do some practice and just land into the circle. So you can see if you maybe want to continue the whole 3 months through 4 practices by week, by month, and 2 deep oracle ceremonies, which are like masterminds and oracle ceremonies. Everything you have written down in the websites and in the promotions and everything. And if that's not resonating right now with you, I would like to invite you to Community Hub that will be opening this that is already open, but in January, when I'm going really in, the only way where I will be sharing myself will be through community and through Amethyst Mama Bear. And I will be going through the scent of the candlelight and the storytelling of and the scent of the rose, that are basically the 12 years of the grid work storytelling that I've done, and can be quite beautiful, activating and integrating for your grid inside of you. Okay, I work only when I'm ready. I used to be addicted to work so I could bypass. Now I'm really landing into I work when I'm ready. To offer that level of vulnerability that I just did through this whole process, it's not a small thing. It's not that I need your compassion. I got it to myself. And I'm like, there is so much part of me in my belly that is still like, okay, so when we are now putting the pause to this, what will happen? And I got me. And the most important thing is I've got me. And that's my aim, that's my wish. And yeah, my so hard tone to you, so we can learn and walk and dance through that experience, through that medicine, to repair, to learn, and to let go what is not serving, to stabilize this constant ocean of emotion into the coherence of earth heart-based living, where dreaming becomes a grounded creation, where the feminine wounds really heals, where she is the shore, the lands of the shore of Avalon, yeah, and where creation is untamed, can land fully, and can be then not just birthed but anchored through the masculine into the 3D. Okay, we are custodians of our own life. If we are giving a power away of any kind of structure, systems, family, or any kind, you're still into relationship through the codependency. When you're bringing awareness, which means not that you don't ask for help or anything, it's just how is your relation to the system can be, so you are in your own lane of resonance. And it's changing by week, month by month, like we can see through the hormonal brain function of the feminine psyche. But yeah, welcome to the shores of Avalon, okay? To be the custodians of our own life, of our own psyche, of our own body, matter, mind, okay? It's always like, it's everything that I see works in the lower expression, the higher expression, and then the rainbow spectrum in between. I'll meet you where you're ready to meet yourself, okay? But I will hold my frequency of uniqueness the way I want it to be, okay? Which means that please really feel in your body if you want to be met with so much authenticity, because when you connect with my field, you get triggered, and that's the beautiful gift. And your responsibility is to not project it outward, but inward, so you can see how you can work that through that medicine. Okay, so through the mastermind of Atlantean timeline, I stand in purification of the Aryan current awareness, where I really went into the opening of my home, of my Lemurian templating, deep dive through Polarian and Hyperborean consciousness, and I really purged so much in this year that I'm just like, okay, I'm ready to settle into the softness, and whatever needs to be still purged, it will be purged through softness. My feminine psyche has gone through a lot. The loops are done, manipulation of my own selves, so I can repeat the trauma, and drama is done. The clarity is here. The principles of where I want to stay and stand is here. And if you want also to go into that mastery, then come, let's play, okay? I started to presenting these first video, second video, third video that you have on the website through really not really wanting to speak my truth through hiding beyond the Guinevere High Priestess Queen templating and the mastery mind of archetype of the wizard and mystic. But I'm here now fully standing into the archetype of the High Priestess, that she's owning her stuff, connected with the Sophia and Christ within her, knowing the Father has her back, going out of the neediness to live into this story of falls and every story that was written anytime, and ask questions: how, when, why, and what is my role in that. So my greatest question that I will leave you in through all of this trilogy that I create is: where and what and how do you want to create and be in these next steps of creation through your whole soul self? How do you want your soul heart medicine to be expressed, seen, and perceived? And then starts within. Okay. So ask yourself one more time if this is for you. If you're not sure yet, we have free gathering on 2nd of December. Everything is linked below. And yeah, it's a great, great, great honor to walk this path with you, anyone who will listen in this now. And there is a lot we are going to tap in, and discovery of Sophia through the psyche of the feminine can really become embodied somatic safety that we all need for the things yet to come. So blessed be. Thank you for listening, and see you on the other side, whatever that is. Thank you.